I gotta put my phone on. It is going. You got the commercial going right now?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
about to start.
Every time I come in the press room, you in the press room. Working on our Stars Hot-Tronic heat press. Using all the vinyl. Making all the picture tees. I like vinyl.
I'm about to just load these boxes up on Nacho.
Man, you gotta be a crazy little brother to get fired on your day off. What you get caught stealing boxes for?
Man, I didn't get caught stealing no boxes. He said he caught me though.
You get our rent paid.
Why don't you go in there and ask the girls real fast to see if they help us pay our rent?
That don't sound like a bad plan at all.
What's up, Pops? What's up, Smokey? I'm trying to set up a meeting with the girls, man.
Okay.
Y'all wanna help me and Craig pay our rent?
Craig still owe me money from the last time he got me. He gotta learn a lesson. He shouldn't be stealing. Go ask him to tell that girl from last night to give him some money.
What they say? They said it's slow for real.
I'm about to just ask boss when we get our job that night.
Ah, of course you can. Yeah!
You lit. You on.
Hey, y'all know what's going on. We back, we at it. BBL podcast, beautiful black beautiful ladies. Of course, featuring myself, Bree, better known as Miss Steele, because I ain't never had a bitch question my loyalty. I've been real.
And you already know it's Prim Jim the Slim Jim. Keep it simple and short.
And we got a special guest. We got somebody legendary on the featuring the Legendary podcast. Thanks for everything you guys have done for us and putting us on this platform. We appreciate you guys, but we got a very legendary guy with us here who is an entrepreneur and a casting director in the whole, entertainment business. We just want to thank you, Carrie Lee. Would like to introduce Carrie Lee on the podcast tonight. Thank you. And we just got some things we want to ask.
Let's go for
coming
it.
from a boss.
That's right.
Go
ahead, boss lady.
So just to start
Even
things
though I know
out,
another boss lady, you the other boss lady.
Save that. Yeah. I do want to start off. We just want to start off by asking you some things because we got a lot of young people, youth, older people that just want to just jump into the business. Myself and my homegirl, we want to be in the entertainment business, and I just want to know. My first question I just wanted to ask you was basically what motivated you or inspired you to really just follow your dream and just jump into it without just facing any fears, and what made you just say, hey, this is what I want to do and follow my dreams?
That's kind of a funny question because getting into the business was I never thought about it at all. I was living in Atlanta working a corporate America job.
Okay.
And rode by a comedy store, and it was a Monday, Tuesday night, something like that, where it was nothing to do. And brother, if we riding as the fellas and we see a car full of women get out and walk into somewhere, we making that U-turn and going in there. For sure. And so that's what happened, and it just happened to be a comedy store.
Okay.
And it was a Monday night, Tuesday night, whatever, but it was an open mic night, come to find out. Okay. And so if y'all know what open mic night is, it's basically just a lot of brand new comics who half of them aren't funny, just trying out comedy for the first time. So we was just in there and just, to speed the story up, just happened to see what was going on and just got myself up on stage. And then just from that, just started doing stand-up. From that,
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I got into the business of entertainment. Okay. But, it was a big move that was in Atlanta. I had to make the move to LA to really get into the business.
Okay, so you started off a stand-up comedian, just hopping on the stage, just
Acting
joking and showing out for the beautiful ladies.
Yeah.
Black beautiful ladies, BBL.
That's all it was. And so that's how it started.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then just moved to LA and got into it and really loved what I was doing because now I was making some money too doing it.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
So-
like having fun. So yeah.
Oh yeah, without punching the clock.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
when you got to LA, who was the first person that you kind of was introduced to in the industry?
When I got to LA, it was a blessing in a sense because I had, and this is one of the things that I try to do with my company is get people to realize that it's best to set up things for your move or for your career versus thinking, a lot of people say, I'm just pack my stuff up and head to Hollywood. And that's cool, you know what I'm saying, if you got that kind of drive. Mm-hmm. But if you got 6 months to prepare, it's a lot better when you decide to make that move. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of what I did once I started doing stand-up in Atlanta. I hooked up with literally a guy by that y'all may know by the name of Joe Torre. And once I got the call to Joe that, things are happening, man, you come out. So once I got to LA, I really had an introduction to people because Joe brought me there in a sense. So it made it a lot easier, but I still, I did things like, make sure I was getting unemployment while I was made that move. Because it's like, I got to have an income. Yeah, you can't move to Hollywood and think you're going to make enough money in the beginning to survive. Because that's really kind of hard.
Shout out to
you got to hustle.
So I have a question. So, like I watch various different like comedic acts, and they talk about bombing, right? Can you please talk about the first time you bombed? Because it's like not of a thing of have you bombed. It's like will you bomb or when you have bombed.
Everybody bombs.
Right. So
everybody. I mean, the first time. Well, honestly, man, I can't think.
Give us the most prolific time, though.
Well, I'll give you the most prolific time, but I'll tell you the story, too. Okay. I can't literally think of a time that I bombed, and that's not being arrogant, but it's just, I never...
felt like that.
I at least got some laughs. I never bombed.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just a whole different thing. That's just, every night, there's some nights you just don't do as good as you did other nights. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But I literally never bombed. But I'll tell you 2 stories on bombing.
Here we go.
One is on when I started doing stand-up in Atlanta, I had, it was a place called the Comedy Act Theater. Mm-hmm. And the Comedy Act Theater in Atlanta was open from like Thursday till Sunday. So that meant Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there was nothing to do, right? And so me being an entrepreneur, I started taking the comics that were at the Comedy Act Theater and going around to different other places and promoting comedy shows. Yeah. And the first place I went to do it was Magic. Okay. It's a strip club.
I was going to say Magic City.
Magic City. So I literally started doing stand-up in Magic City, right? And because I don't know if y'all did either one of y'all live in Atlanta or anything?
Never lived, but we visited a lot.
There used to be another club there called Michael's too. There was a club called, you remember Club Michael's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Club Michael's.
So the owner of Club Michael was from Dayton, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay.
He's from Dayton.
Okay.
So that's how I got into Magic City was through him, right? Mm-hmm. But anyway, so when I started taking around the different clubs, it used to be this one guy that used to follow me around. And at every little club, he would come up and be like, come on, man, let me go up. And I used to say, man, I'm only using the comics that, because I had a book show. So I could only use the comics that I booked for the show, which were Comedy Act Theater comics that I knew were funny.
Correct.
And this dude used to... Short list. So he used to follow me around every night. The one night that one of my comics didn't show up, I put him up first. His comic's name is Chris Tucker, right? So I put Chris Tucker up, and it happened to be at like the VFW post, like your parents would go to, right? And being Chris basically first time on stage, I'm sitting in the back laughing my ass off, but he talking jokes that grandparents was like, oh, this guy, who brought him in? Right. So he bombed seriously, right? But bombing seriously, he was funny. He just didn't know the crowd.
Read the room.
You know what I'm saying? And so that was the big difference on that. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to bombing, you just got to really know your crowd. And you can always, kind of salvage a show. Now, my worst time of bombing was Showtime at the Apollo. Right?
Oh, okay.
But I didn't bomb. This is the story. All right, I was not one of the paid. I wasn't one of the contestants.
Yeah.
Right. I was one of the featured acts that came on basically that took you out of the commercial took you out of the show into the commercial. Right. And so, if when they tape shows like that, they tape like 3 or 4 shows a day. Right. So they start taping at like 10 in the morning and tape all the way till like 9 at night. And so the audience, they basically just, if you're looking at the show and you see the people in the audience, that's just, they done moved them from the back. They done just rotated the people all day.
Like, move up front.
Yeah, y'all move up. Okay, we done seen y'all 3 shows. Y'all got to go in the back, bring the people up front, right? And so the audience is tired. They've been there all day. And basically, they've been working, too, because they've been moving around, right? So I was the last comic on the last show. And so it was like, they were tired, they were ready to go, but the last act they were there for because it was Naughty by Nature, and it was when they had the song Hip Hop Hooray, which was the #1 song, right? So them being, and that's what the bad part was. What y'all doing right now? This is what happened. I'm standing on. Y'all know if you ever watch Showtime at the Apollo and you come out and you rub the tree, right?
Yeah.
I just rubbed the tree. I'm standing stage right. Mark Curry was the host. Mark Curry comes out and Mark just walks onto stage from stage right, and over on stage right is Naughty by Nature. So when Mark comes out, the first thing he does to the crowd is go, Hip Hop Hooray!
So they waiting for the rappers to come out.
So the whole Apollo stands up now and starts doing what y'all just started doing. Hip Hop Hooray! Ho!
Like, get up out of here.
So I'm standing over there like, there's no damn way am I going out there. That's the death of a comic right there.
Yeah.
They gonna go like,
so Mark looked over stage left and he's like, the stage manager's like, here, you got, he's holding the little thing up. And I'm like, I'm not going out, man. No hell, no way. And so Mark finally cuts and cried it down. He's like, okay, man, my fault. This is my boy coming out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man. And so I thought about that check. I thought about that check.
That bag, that good old bag.
And so I was like, all right. So the first thing I did when I went out, I just grabbed the mic from Mike, from Mark. And I just said to the Apollo, so y'all know that was the most fucked up introduction I could get.
Right.
And so they laughed.
Okay.
And so I was supposed to, I got him back.
Got him.
And I was supposed to do 5 minutes. I did 3 quick minutes, and I got up out of the Apollo.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Got up out of it. So that was almost my worst bomb. Okay. Outside of that, to go back to the question, I never bombed, man.
Right.
Okay.
I even saved the Apollo.
There we go. There we go.
Yes.
That's all right.
Just speaking of, like, I know that was like, okay, you didn't bomb, but everybody know that they want to be in the entertainment business. Like, we know we want this, that, and the third, and like we always see the glitz and glam and the good part of it. Like me looking at just the celebrities and the people that you have been around, it's like, oh, I would love to be in that position. But can you tell us some experiences, good and bad, far as being in the industry, or the entertainment business at all, like? I mean, good and bad.
That's kind of a hard question, but I mean, just like any business, it's something you have to prepare for, and it's not, you work as an extra, especially in Hollywood. You work as an extra, you don't make that much money, and videos is 12-hour days. You know what I'm saying? Anything that's what's classified as a non-union project, which typically is a music video, they're based on a 12-hour day. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to be there 12 hours for the little bit of money, but you're there because of what it means and what it can do for you. If it's outside in the rain, you outside in the rain for 12 hours.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And you might only get $50.
Day as an extra, how much would you typically make on average?
Between $75 to $150 a day.
Wow.
Not a lot.
Oh, okay. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Most projects, that's about the norm of what they pay.
And even if there's like, for example, let's take the movie The Last Dragon, and when they was in the movie theater all fighting, but just the people that was just in that movie theater, is each one of those people getting paid $150?
This is the way it works. And this goes back on to one of the things that I'm doing, and we were talking earlier before we got on the air. is I'm putting together a summit here in Dayton. It's called the Dayton Television and Film Summit, right? Industry Summit. And it's basically anybody who wants to get into the business, whether it's in front of the camera or in back of the camera, to show how to do that. You know what I'm saying? Or if you have things that the industry needs, like houses, you know, that they wanted, that you always say they should shoot in my house, or a classic car that you say, I would love to have my car in this movie. That's what the summit is going to do. Okay. But to answer your question, how it works too, in the sense of as an actor or as what's called an extra, because literally on every project you only have 2 classifications, and that's a principal or an extra. A principal is somebody who's speaking. An extra is everybody else on camera.
Right.
Okay. It ain't no different level. People think it's levels of extra, but them pay stubs just say extra or principal. Okay. But for instance, during one of the seminars that I talk about, because I travel around the country and I actually do seminars about, again, getting into business. And one of the things in the way that I explain that answer to that question is, every city, let's say, for instance, if they came to Dayton, which that's what hopefully this summit will do, to film a Hollywood movie, okay? The way it works is, let's say, for instance, the star of the movie is Denzel Washington, right? We done casted Denzel Washington and Steven Spielberg to direct it in Hollywood. But they have to come here to film in that house, that historic house that we're going to use.
Right.
But we need a UPS driver to drive up and say, here's your UPS package. You know what I'm saying? That person, we're not flying from Dayton to do what's called a day player role, which means 1 day of shooting, basically. It would be too much business-wise to fly somebody, put them up, feed them, and do all of that, when it could be casted here in Dayton.
Correct.
Right? So it goes out. So we know in Hollywood to put it out to a professional agency here. And this is what I was talking to you earlier about, when you were talking about getting into the business and stuff, how to find and get with that particular agency. So the first thing you'd hear about the speaking role that's coming in that Hollywood movie, because your agent heard about that. So that's level number 1, okay? The second level is, okay, we done got the waitress, but let's even not say a house. Let's say we're doing it at the arcade downtown, okay? So we just needed a door person to open up the door to the arcade. Welcome to the arcade. That's what we casted for the day player role here in Dayton.
Right.
Okay, so, but we need in the arcade, to make it look legitimate, we need 200 extras.
Right.
Right?
Right.
For sure, we're not flying 200 extras from Hollywood.
Right.
Okay. But business-wise, if it was in Hollywood, it would be 200 paid extras, because, for instance, that's what my company does. Is if you called me for that show in Hollywood, I would say, okay, my 200 extras, each one is $75. This is how much it costs, and this is how much it costs for me to get them there for you.
For sure.
So all 200 extras is paid in Ohio, in California, because that's the business and we know that. But here in Dayton, this is what I know I can do in Dayton and make it work. I would find the extra casting company, let's say Dayton Extras, right? Because there is one here. If not in Dayton, there's for sure one in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And in Columbus.
Columbus.
Okay. So I would find Dayton Extras, and I would call them and say, listen, we're coming to to Dayton. We need some extras. I'll pay you $75 to hire me 100 extras, right?
There you go.
And then I'd go down to WDAL radio or WORU and say, Hollywood is coming to Dayton, and we need 100 extras to come down there. There's no pay, but you get a free lunch, and you get to be in a Hollywood movie beside Denzel Washington. So we got the other 100 extras for free.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, I get it.
Follow me?
Does that
And
go-
so what I try to show people is how to not be that free extra on the radio, but how to be the free extra at the company that was hired for the 100. Because you're going to be there with those other people sitting there while the other making money, and y'all doing the same thing. Wouldn't you want to be the money person there?
Exactly. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's how that works in a sense of when it comes to casting extras.
Right.
Here, everybody wouldn't be paid because I know I wouldn't have to pay everybody. But in in California, everybody could, you ain't even gonna sign up for no free work, extra work in California.
Okay. All right, listen, cost of living is way too high.
So
because they know better. You know what I'm saying?
It's Hollywood.
Does that go back to like being a non-SAG and a SAG actress?
Well, actually, that's union and non-union.
Union, yeah. Union
and that's a whole different long conversation. It's you have to think about that like the auto workers union and the steel workers union. Right. It's just a union for actors, like you know what I'm saying, and that's just the auto workers. The reason they have a union is just so because if you work on the assembly line, you ain't supposed to clean toilets.
Yeah, I've been in a union before, and like for instance, so like in a union, which is completely reversed from the regular world, right? Because like for instance, like in your job right now, like where like you hire people, you will have somebody that literally make shirts, clean up, do the third. You have people that are cleaning crew that they catch you cleaning up, they gonna go snitch to their boss saying, "He's doing my job. He's doing my job." And in the real world, it's like, I don't care if you do my job, but union, they protect their job, so I understand that.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the purpose of a union. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's because you don't. If the way I explain union work is, if you worked at McDonald's and you worked on fries and you were hired on fries, you've been dipping them fries in that grease for 2 years, right? Yep. The register position just opened up. A shift on the register opened up. That pays more. It wouldn't be fair for the manager at McDonald's to put in the newspaper, I'm hiring for the register, before she comes tap you on the shoulders and say, are you ready to get off fries?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great example.
But you have to think about it this way too, and this is when it comes to acting. This is why the union is important when it comes to acting. Mm-hmm. What if you on fries because you can't count?
So you pick that and
the union can't make me put you on on the register. They can't say, okay, no, we don't care they don't count. You got to put them on the register. Okay, but what any union does is you have to hire within first, but if you can't find what you need within first, then you can look outside.
Correct.
And that's why when it comes to, as an actress, it's important that you become union, because if it's in Ohio and it's a movie, they probably came here because there's no guidelines. They could shoot it non-union, meaning they could do anything they wanted to do. If it was in California and it was union, and the reason it would be union is because, let's just say, I could be Elon Musk and have, the money that he has, right, and want to make $100 million movie. No one can stop me, whether I'm, this is the movie I want to make, and I want to make it about this, and I got $100 million to do it. When the union comes into play is if Elon Musk says, well, I think I want Denzel Washington to star in it and Steven Spielberg to direct it. Then when I go to them, it's up to Denzel Washington and Steven Spielberg to make the determination of whether they want to do it, because it's not that they need $1 million or $2 million. That could mean nothing then. But $2 million to Steven Spielberg, just giving it to him, he's got to put it in the bank, he's got to pay taxes for it, he's got to work. Versus if it comes through the union, his health benefits come out, his family pension comes out, all of those business things come out. So Steven Spielberg will probably say, well, no, Elon, unless you make your movie union, I'm not going to do it.
And they probably got a union and a non-union pay for the workers as well.
Well, that's true. That's true on any union, on any job. Okay, but that's why you would want to make your movie union. And then when it comes down to hiring an actress, the reason why you want to become union is because it's a business situation, meaning if I hire you if it's down to you two, she's a union actress and you're a non-union actress, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose because you cost more money. Right. Because again, I'm putting you over her, and so the union is going to say, she's a member, you got to pay some money for that. She ain't paying dues and all of that for nothing.
Right. So we talked about how you got started into stand up. Let's go to some of your early beginnings, right? So where'd you grow up at?
Right here in Dayton, Ohio. I went to Jefferson. I went to JT.
Okay.
JT.
Class of 81.
What were some of the early experiences that you still hold dear to your heart today?
From JT?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, it was Jefferson made me what I am in the sense of being able to communicate with people. Because first of all, like I was my, for instance, my class president, right?
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
wait a minute.
See?
Before you answer that,
Like what?
let's take a quick break real quick. All
Okay.
right, we'll be
Yes,
right
sir.
back. You got it.
Every time I come in the press room, you in the press room. Working on our Stars hot tronic heat press. Using all the vinyl. Making all the picture tees. I like vinyl.
I'm about to just load these boxes up. I'm out your way.
Man, you gotta be a crazy little brother to get fired on your day off. What you get caught stealing boxes for?
Man, I didn't get caught stealing no boxes. He said he caught me though.
You get our rent paid.
Why don't you go in there and ask the girls real fast to see if they help us pay our rent?
That don't sound like a bad plan at all.
What's up, Pops?
What's up, Smokey?
I'm trying to set up a meeting with the girls, man.
Okay.
Y'all wanna help me and Craig pay our rent?
Craig still owe me money from the last time he got me. He gotta learn a lesson. He shouldn't be stealing. Go ask him to tell that girl from last night to give him some money.
What they say? They said it's slow for real. I'm about to just ask Boss when we get our job that night.
Of course you can.
We back, BBL podcast featuring the legendary Carrie Lee on the Legendary People podcast, of course, featuring ourselves, black beautiful ladies, beautiful black ladies, BBL, bad bitches still link.
And they are fine, fellas.
Don't leave that out.
Sure. So
We gotta hurry up and get off the air so I can talk some mess.
Oh, we get to that too. Don't leave that out. You must not know about our podcast.
So we were talking about, like kind of how you got your start, but we want to find about the humble beginnings. So tell us about some of those JT days.
Well, I mean, JT, like I said, I was class president, but I was only class president. I only ran because I wasn't smart. It wasn't even about I was class president. I just knew I wanted my class to party out the last year.
Yeah.
Right? And so I was, because of the way JT is, if y'all know that, I mean, we all grew up together, meaning our families went from kindergarten to senior high school. I mean, to seniors, right? 12th grade. And so I had a lot of brothers and sisters, so I was my family was known throughout, the township. Okay. And so that's how I won class president, because I just was most popular.
I was about to say.
Senior class.
That's
right?
how dating is.
Still means a lot.
But that also was having the older brothers and sisters. Dayton back in the days when we were growing up, it was really a music capital.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
Dayton, really,
Ohio
the
players.
clubs here. There was the hottest club in the southwest area called Spunky's.
Funkies. Oh, I knew you was gonna say
And
Spunkies.
Shout out to
Spunky's,
Carrie Ivy. Shout out to Darren Bird.
shout out to Ricky Poole.
There we go.
Y'all better put some
You know what I'm saying, who
respect on
started
dating.
Spunky's.
There we go.
And so Spunky's, and then my sister was a friend of mine. His name was Mark Jones.
Okay.
Mark Jones was the hustler back in the day. Okay, and so I used to literally help Mark put together all of the clubs that he would move around as the hustler. And then even with DJ a little bit when because Mark was kind of like family, right?
Right.
And so that really gave me that entertainment love. And Dayton was a nice place to do those things back then. And Dayton was a party city, man, and a nice party city. You didn't go out. It still is, but it's a little.
It ain't not. I wouldn't say nice, but it's party. It's a party.
But it's still a party city. You know what I'm saying? And it's just music wise, y'all know we had it all back, and we still got the music.
We still got it.
But that's
We just
really
need the
that's where
platform.
that love of the entertainment business came was from here. That's why, again, going back to that summit, that's why I want to do that summit here, because I know there's still that love of the entertainment business here.
So
Right. Speaking of.
what was the hardest thing you had to overcome when it came to moving or taking that leap to leave Dayton in order to start your own legacy?
Oh, I left Dayton right after high school. I mean,
Okay.
right after high school, I went to University of Cincinnati and then just never came back. Went to Cincinnati to, because every time, one thing about Dayton, it is a small city, man. You know what I'm saying? And so either you like the small city, or when you go to a larger city and you experience it, then it seems smaller here.
There's a saying that when they say, well, dating ain't bad unless you've been somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So every city that I moved to was a bigger city. Like I said, from Dayton to Cincinnati to Atlanta to LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
LA, big dog.
Yep.
I just wanted to ask. Basically, I want to know what are you keep talking about the what is it called, a summit? You said a summit. Summit. You're talking about that, and I just basically want to know what projects are you currently working on, because if I saw correctly, I've heard big names like Cedric the Entertainer.
Well, I mean, right now, one of the things that my company does is I provide the background extras for a lot of different projects.
Okay.
And one of the projects that currently is on the air is the Neighborhood with Cedric the Entertainer.
Okay.
So what I do for that show is my forte in business has always been, like I said, the first video that I casted was the song Gin and Juice.
Okay.
And then starting out doing music videos for Dr. Dre, my forte was always, Carrie, we need 5 bad ones, and we need 10 bad ones.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's really the same thing that happens on The Neighborhood when they have a scene. The largest company that provides the background extras in the country, and mainly Hollywood, is a company called Central Casting. And so the show actually uses Central Casting for its extras. But when it's a club scene, Central Casting can do a great Walmart, but they can't do the club that Cedric would like to go to.
Right.
Okay.
And that's where they call me and say, we need some bad ones for the club.
Right.
Yeah,
You know
that
what I'm
little
saying?
urban.
And so that's one of the shows that I do right now. But I do music videos and stuff every day, man. I mean, I'm doing a music video all the time. I'm actually getting ready to shoot 2 projects, one being a sitcom, and one being a game show.
Okay.
So where do you get the most of these? Where do you recruit? Where do you find these bads, and they're good for the club scene, and this is good? Where do you find these? Okay. Where you find them, D? Because I ain't been in the video yet. God damn it! I ain't been in the motherfucking video yet. I be hair and makeup.
Mr. Carey at the Silver Fox when I was working there when I was young. I was 19.
Silver
I was
Fox.
just a waitress. And then just recently I bumped into him at Napoleon's Reloaded.
Come get y'all some tacos, $2 tacos tonight. What's up?
So whenever I'm out, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Whenever I'm out, and it's not just baddies. That's just what I was
Right.
really known for. But my company uses, one of the projects or one of the movies actually, again, that I'm casting right now is a Masterpiece movie about No Limit.
Okay.
Right? And within that movie, there's characters from Master P when he was 6 years old to his grandmother. You know what I'm saying? So I cast all kind of different things. So when I'm out, if I see a cute baby, here's my card.
Cute pregnant women.
So
Excuse me, same thing too, yeah.
So in pre-production, we heard you speaking about some of the things that you've already done in prominence, such as your role in Martin and things of that nature. Are there any other things behind the scenes that we didn't speak on the podcast yet, or some of the things that you had your hand in? Or you talk about your experience on Martin, which we're all gonna love.
Let's talk about it, because I was a little late. I do want to hear about the Martin, because I love Martin, and he's an Aries.
And how'd you get involved in Martin?
How did I get involved in Martin show or in the business period? Okay.
Martin.
I mean,
we want to know a little
definitely
bit.
want to know casting. And I got a good question for you when
Put
it
it
comes
together
to
in the
casting.
same.
Casting was just, I never thought I'd be doing, first of all, I never thought I'd be doing stand-up. You know what I'm saying? And then from stand-up, I never thought I'd be doing, casting, right? But how I got into casting was just from the stand-up. I kind of was doing pretty good there. And I made a name for myself and started hanging with a gentleman by the name of Bruce Williams. And Bruce Williams used to be, when the Death Row first started, Dre wasn't as big as Dre was. So when we would be out, you know what I'm saying, you would see Dr. Dre at a club. But and someone would always say, I got a tape, Dre, for you to hear, and he would always say, okay, give it to Bruce.
Right.
And so Bruce was kind of like Dre's left hand or right hand man.
Okay.
And so I met Bruce out in a club or just being out in Hollywood. You know how you'll be out and you'll just if I know you and you just keep bumping into the same people, we know the same people, and so me and Bruce just started hanging, and it's come to find out that Bruce was Dre's right hand, but I would hang with him when he wasn't with Dre.
Right.
And so it would get to the point that sometimes it was inconvenient for me not to be included because he would have to go way on the other side of town to do for Dre or get Dre.
Right.
And so Carrie just sitting in the back, and you know what I'm saying. And so it became me, Bruce, and Dr. Dre literally riding around town and stuff, right? We're doing things, and so we were just literally and at the time they knew I was doing stand up, but the one thing that they didn't know that I was doing was I was being an extra. I had to make a living because you wasn't making no big living doing stand up. So I started doing extra work. You know what I'm saying? Just like I was telling you, one of the paid extras, right? Mm-hmm. And so the one thing about when you do extra work or you're on set, you network and you exchange numbers. And
what is your network?
And you talk about you know a project tomorrow, man. If you do, let me know. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I did for about a 6-month period. So we were sitting one time, and Dre was in a meeting, and they were over there, and we were sitting over there. You know, it's Cali, so we doing our Cali thing, blowing one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That sticky green is a monster in Cali.
RNA.
So we was over there, and I literally heard Dre was meeting with the girl, and he said, "Okay, you can do the video, and at the end of the video, let's do a party scene." And then she said, "Well, Dre, do you know an extra casting company?" And then I just said, "Dre, what the fuck you think I do?" Literally. And then Dre said, "Okay, Carrie doing the extras."
Wow.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, now I gotta put together some extras. But it was easy
because you had a network of people that you already done.
And all I did was call you and say, "Hey, I can pay you $100 tomorrow to come be in this Dre video and bring a couple of your girls." I paid them $100 too.
Period.
And so that's how I literally got that first video project together.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But what I realized was once I started doing music videos, then one of the producers from the Martin show came to one of the video shoots and basically said, "Okay, man, damn, you know, Club Nipsey, we need Central Casting, you know, what they bring in the Nipseys.
Ooh,
we need that
they
in
was
Nipsey."
bad in Nipsey.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all know Nipsey's is a club on Martin, right?
Yeah, I know.
And so the producer I was like, "Well, man, you know, I did those. Y'all should let me do the Martin show." So he's like, "Okay, we'll let you come down one episode and provide some girls, provide some people." Man, I about the baddest ones, my baddest video girl. I called them all like, "I need you. I need you." And so it was like very easy after that. You know, once I did the first show, and then they were like, "Oh, these are the extras. This is what we need, man, right here." You know, and then what my company started doing is showing people. You know, they would say, when you take a break.
Yeah, shot. No,
Oh.
you just out the shot. All right.
I'm leaning out the shot again. And I should be knowing this, huh?
Great producers, man. You're doing a great job producing,
and
man.
So we were, you know, my company is designed, once I've started doing those extras on music videos, most of y'all remember the terminology were video vixens.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Superhead.
Yeah. But only
Melissa Ford first.
Yeah.
Melissa Ford.
Come on,
Yeah.
now. Come on now. Salute to the GOAT, Melissa Ford.
But put it this way.
She's the GOAT.
only people that talked about them the way y'all do are people outside LA. If you were in LA, you was hustling. You happy to get a video. You happy to do those projects.
I would've
If
loved
you
to
just
be a
moved to
video
LA
vixen.
from Dayton and you were able to call home and say, "Yo, look at me. I'm on this Beyonce video.
I'm in Jay-Z
this Dr. Dre
video."
People back in Dayton thinking you doing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that video vixen stuff, that was just a stupid terminology.
That's a good question to ask you.
And it really was a stupid terminology. And I tell you why it's a stupid terminology. Because from the Martin show, tell you this story. A friend of mine brought this girl into me, and she comes in my office, and I'm doing an episode of the Martin show. And the episode was Martin and Tommy and them went to a swingers party. Y'all remember?
Yeah.
Right? And while they were at the swingers party, Tashina and Pam said, "We're going to have a girls' day at the house. We're going to do a spa day." Right? So I needed 30 people for the, let's say 30 people for the party scene, right? For Martin, that Martin was going to. And then I needed 2 bad girls that would be one of masseuse and one a nail tech.
Okay.
That would be on camera in Martin's
I'm excited.
I
I was supposed to. All I think, y'all, is I know I was supposed to be born back then. I would have been. Say the reboot. I like that, Mr. Kerry. Y'all better tune in.
question too.
And so while I'm sitting there and I picked the 2 girls, and This one girl comes in by the name, they call her name is Lisa at that time, right? So Lisa, I look up and I'm like, oh, she's fine. So the other girl's name, I literally scratched that one name off. Because I'm like, oh, I'm putting her on the Martin show tomorrow.
For sure.
Right? And so she sat down and the first thing she says to me is, well, I don't do extra work because I have a little name in Chicago. I've been doing some stuff for my dad. And so I'm like, well, I ain't got nothing for you because I got some extra work. But it's on a TV show called Martin. Right? So she said, okay, I'll do it. So she comes down to the show. She does that scene, right? And then one of the producers come up to me and says, listen, I want her, those two girls you had, to come, and we done added a scene in that party. And what we want to do is we want Tommy to come out of the, if y'all remember, this is how Martin found out about it was a party, or a swingers party, because he came out of a room and he had a girl on his back, and he had another girl acting like a dog, like Martin.
I remember that.
As a monster, as a big
I
dog.
remember that.
The girl on his back was Lisa Ray.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey.
Right? And so, because of the fact that Lisa Ray did the extra work, and then when I asked her to do the party thing, she was like, well, I'm already finished. I'm like, well, no, I need you to do that. Right? So she did the party scene, and one of the producer's friends of Martin came up to me after that and said, listen, man, I'm getting ready to do this music video, and I need some of your baddies, you know what I'm saying, to come to do this video, audition for it. So before I release everybody, I go in the room and I say, listen, I'm doing the music video casting tomorrow. I need all of y'all to come. And they all went, even Lisa was like, I don't do music videos. Yes, you do. I need you to come to this tomorrow. Yeah. And so she came to the music video. She got the lead for the music video, right? The day they were shooting the music video, another guy come up to me while we're shooting the music video and say, listen, man, I'm getting ready to, I just signed this deal an hour ago.
Who you think?
About this movie that I'm doing called The Players Club.
I know it!
So that girl should come audition for the movie.
Ooh.
No,
Dr. Ice Cube.
No, it wasn't Ice Cube. It was his partner who signed with him to do the movie.
Okay.
Said that girl should come, but Ice Cube was the director. And so that's how Lisa Ray got to you even knowing her name for doing extra work.
That's hard. So I gotta ask you the $1 million question. I gotta ask you the $1 million question, which has plagued a lot of urban theories and things of that nature. Who is the baddest between Pam and Gina?
We know Pam.
When you say the baddest,
I mean, because you can
the
get
baddest in what sense? The
Pam.
baddest,
I'll let you clarify.
as saying, woo, she fine as hell,
I'll let you clarify.
or the baddest as actress, or the baddest as
Singing,
just
acting.
overall.
Pam. Pam got that voice. She had that body. She was the baddest. She was bad. They overlooked
Gina.
I'll let you
Pam.
clarify.
Gina
They both, to me,
was the same.
are equally talented.
Okay.
Both, because they both even do ballroom shows where they
sing,
sing and stuff. So they both are performers.
I'm with you.
Period. You know what I'm saying? They just, you can't compare. Just like y'all were asking about Martin and Kevin Hart and Fred. You can't compare.
It ain't no
the two.
comparison.
They're both good actresses.
But
The first Fresh Prince.
But okay. I understand.
Look at him.
Talent-wise.
That Coke bottle.
But man to man.
Coke bottle. Pam had it.
Man to man, I'd hit
Gina Arms was.
always
say?
me, man.
They
both find it.
They was.
Because I like a light skinned girl at times, and then I like my dark sister. You know what I'm saying?
That's hard.
And both.
Which brings us to the real question, not the question that Peanut asked. Peanut didn't ask the real question.
All right, here we go.
The real question is the casting couch.
I was gonna ask
my
that. Is
God.
that real?
Shit,
That's what I
is
wanted
it
to
real?
The casting couch.
is
Well, y'all know it's real because of Harvey Weinstein and all of the things like that. So
take a point from yourself.
the casting couch is real, but me personally realized that it was more of a headache than it was worth.
No pun intended.
You know what I'm saying? When I first got into the business, oh yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? It was fun acting a fool. You know what I'm saying? But now at being the age that I am and seeing things, it's just my business. What I try to do is show girls and people that you don't have to do the casting couch, but you're gonna be presented with a lot of casting couches. And you know, and I say to people, when people ask me that question and stuff too, I'm like, one of my analogies is, you know, if Steven Spielberg, for instance, was a flaming gay man, I mean seriously, and in front of my boys he came up and asked me out to dinner, hell yeah, I'm going to dinner with Steven Spielberg, no doubt. But whether I bend over at the end of dinner is on me, but I guarantee you I'm gonna leave with a deal from Steven Spielberg after dinner, and I ain't gonna bend over.
So I mean, I gotta ask.
Everybody was like, "Oof."
No.
Listen, no.
Conversation rules.
Back.
I mean, I gotta ask you a viral question, and I mean, so we have R. Kelly who's doing 30 years, right? What is the same type of metric when it comes to young entertainers when it comes to the industry that you've seen, that you probably, you know, that you probably seen where it's like, well, that's a little questionable?
I mean, it's.
What's the question?
That I kind of get what he's saying, but
I'm just at what's the question?
Let him go. He was in the middle of the cipher.
Well, but because the only thing that I can
we didn't understand the question.
Well, I'm asking him, not you, Smith. Just let him.
but clarify it too a little
what
more.
What the fuck was the question? Where is you not saying the question for? What's the question, OG?
Honestly,
what's the question that he asked you, bro?
More in the sense of what should they be doing and not doing.
What should young people be doing?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
all you had to say.
You're a grown man. You're a grown woman. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to kids, it's a whole different ballgame. But when it comes to the business, you know, to be an extra on the Martin show is a big difference than being an extra on a music video.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. I've caught many girls in the trailers of music videos. Mm-hmm. I bet not ever catch you in the trailer of the Martin show, or your ass is being fired and going home immediately.
There we go.
Immediately. Over here, it's a little different on the music video set because typically it's just the dudes and the money you know what I'm saying, it's Bobby who's funding this, and so it's non-union, so nobody's watching over here. And then you always got the it ain't never the artist. It's always his boys that got the girls in the trailers, and that's
it ain't never
dumb to me. Like you ain't even with the wrong dude.
Okay,
right dude. Right.
With the wrong, and then it's like it's business to me whether you're caught in the trailer over there or over here, because when the director says I need the 10 girls on set, and then he looks and it's only 7, it's like, yo, Carrie, where the hell are your girls?
Right.
And that makes me look bad. Mm-hmm. So I'm checking them. But it's a lot more prevalent over here on that side because, you know, you just don't know things. And you know, I mean, y'all women know there's, you know, men always can talk women into things, making them think they're going to do things for them.
Right.
But we was talking kind of about R. Kelly. So when you was talking about R. Kelly, talk a little more, because I know you said he got 30 years. Yeah. Are you basically saying, do you feel like he deserved 30 years?
Not more or less that. I'm saying, like, have you seen from your perspective, you know, the underside of the industry of how younger people are being manipulated in the industry?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and Bree did a great job to ask you, what did you say?
Because I wanted to touch more on it, because me personally, I don't think that R. Kelly deserved 30. I don't. I really don't think he deserved the 30 years. Like, I mean, it's just too much in Hollywood and shit that's going on where they normalize it and it's okay when they do it, but when we do it, they just can't wait to bash a black man. Because I'm just being honest, just from experience, I've always liked older men. And you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like an older man forced me to do anything. That's just what I gravitated towards, you know, somebody that, you know, you could look up to.
And was stable.
It was just what I liked. So I'm not saying I was doing anything that I wasn't supposed to do. That's what I wanted to do.
Or just parents selling their kids to get them to, you know, bring the money in as well.
But the difference there though is you liking an older man is fine, but that older man using your dream to get you is different.
Using his power to get
Okay,
to
I see what you're saying. Right, because say for instance, like we rappers, if we was doing this at 15, 16, it would be different. Okay, come on, I got somebody, I got this.
You still have to think, you know, I mean, wisdom comes with age. You know what I'm saying? And man, I mean, I think about it, if I was at 12 or 15 years old and somebody who was a superstar to me said hi to me,
right?
It could get me to do probably anything I fucking wanted. They wanted me to do.
That's true. Wow. That do make sense.
Yeah,
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And so that part of it, I really haven't seen, because when it comes to that kind of stuff, it's hidden. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, no, I never saw that with R. Kelly. You know, even when I would see R. Kelly, it would be grown adults. You know what I'm saying? But you have to think, they're grown adults now. The problem is, you know, they may be 19, 20 now when I see them out, but he may groom them since 15.
How was R. Kelly himself when all this stuff was going on?
I think
How old was R. Kelly?
I think he was like in his mid-20s, 30s. Honestly, guys, like, I mean, I feel like R. Kelly, just to touch on it a little bit, I feel like, you know, have you ever heard of when like a woman or somebody has been sexually assaulted or, you know, abused, that they're more sexual or they... that. So R. Kelly, I don't know if a lot of people know, but R. Kelly, just like D-Ray, the comedian, you know, they were molested by older women. So I could just imagine, you know, you being a young boy and this grown woman with all this hair and you just like, she's just older. She probably smell a little funny. You know, she probably was drunk and hot and horny. And it just, like D-Ray said, I don't even like going down on women because I was sexually assaulted by an older woman when I was younger. So I kind of understand. I don't understand all the way, but I could kind of understand why R. Kelly would just be like, I don't want an older woman. Like, ugh. Like, so it kind of made sense. Not saying he's right at all. You know, he's not right at all. Rather, that little girl was like, well, I want to get further in my career and I like him. It's not right, you know.
So for clarification, R. Kelly was 27 years old when he tried to marry Aaliyah when she was 15 years old.
27.
27. I know what I was doing at 27.
I don't think R. Kelly had got to his full stage of maturity
He
by
didn't.
that point. I mean, he probably understood that what he was doing
Let's say about 25 is when
out of bounds.
25 is when.
But with him having sexual assault in his own background, that probably would delay his process. But I'm not giving up.
Yeah, we not. But that is a true
women,
story.
I think women probably mature a little faster than men.
We do.
So a 25-year-old woman is probably a couple of years ahead of a 25-year-old man mentally.
Yeah.
But R. Kelly, you know.
Well, let's spin the block. Let's get back.
Because I'm over here looking like,
exciting
boy.
So like you worked on Martin. Like, what is one of your proudest moments of working on Martin?
Just the nostalgic of the history of that story, of that show, man.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's iconic.
Very much so.
And
So
discovering Lisa Ray, I mean,
That's hard.
You know, it's just iconic, man. I mean,
where was Lisa Ray at? I just want to know, where was her badass at?
Fox at too, because you.
Oh, you know, Vivica.
I didn't discover them. I just all my company does is put you in the position to make happen your dreams. You know what I'm saying? And one of the ways that I explain that to talent or to people is, you know, you always hear, you know, y'all hear that story of somebody was walking down the street in Hollywood and an agent discovered them and signed them, right? And that shit does happen. Because think about it. I could be an agent in Hollywood and leave in my office and go into Starbucks and see you just got off the bus and like your look and say, hey, you doing acting or modeling? If not, just come on up to my office and sign you. It happens all the time in LA. But the process doesn't change. Meaning that when she sees you and says, come up to my office and sit down, the first thing she's going to say to you is, okay, show me your headshots. Because that's the business now of it.
Right.
And if you don't have them, okay, we got a good photographer that you can go and shoot with, but you just realize you gonna be paying for your pictures. Ain't nobody gonna invest in your career at that point, right? So you're gonna be paying for your own pictures. But what I try to get people to realize, it's better that you know that and get you some good pictures already. So while you are walking down the street and when that agent says, hey, you're ready for the business.
What if she don't want to do that? What if she just got that look and she don't want to do that, or get pictures?
Then you ain't gonna be in the business.
She don't want to do what?
Because you're gonna have to.
I mean, because he just saying you could just be walking and you see somebody in Starbucks and you be like, I want you, and you had those pictures. But what if she was never even thinking about that at that moment? Then it's like invest in yourself, like.
No. If you're never thinking about that at that moment, then when I say to you, because I have a pitch, and my pitch is simply.
And if they say, I'm over it.
No, if they say, nah, I'm not interested, then thank you, goodbye. Because all I do is, everybody I say the same thing, and that is, I love your look. And then when they say, I say, do you do any acting in the mountain? She just sound free to her about it. Do you do any acting in the mountain? If she says no, then great. I'm a casting director in Hollywood. I used to do shows like Martin and stuff. Here's my card. If you're interested, I'd love to talk to somebody. Let's make some money together. And I walk away. But if they say they're in the business, then I say, great. So do you have an agent? Do you a union? You non-union? You rep yourself? Because the reason I ask those questions is people say they're in the business, but they think that 10,000 Instagram followers mean they're in the business.
What Drake say?
No.
Don't tell me you model if you ain't been involved.
Yeah.
What did he say? He said something like that.
So I gotta say, that's why I say, are you union or not? And then I listen, and then that gives me the gauge of whether they're in the business or not. But I do all of that to find out. And if they say no, like you were talking about, then it's just, okay, thank you.
Right.
Bye.
Nice to meet you.
So in pre-production, I spoke about my admiration for Jamie Foxx. I say he's an alien a million times, right? So if you worked on Jamie Foxx show and also the Steve Harvey show, right? Those shows kind of fall in the same realm, right? Mm-hmm. So let's do verses. Steve Harvey show versus Jamie Foxx show. Which one do you think is the better show within the two?
Jamie's show was better show.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
definitely.
of the writers on it.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. But which show did you have the most, like the most prominent feature when it came to the shows?
The funniest show that I worked on, in my opinion, that I laughed all day, every day was The Real Husbands of Hollywood. Martin was funny. Martin was funny, but The Real Husbands of Hollywood just had so many characters in comics and people coming in and out.
Yes.
And The Real Husbands of Hollywood, they improv'd a lot more than on Martin. Martin stayed to the script a lot. Martin would improv a lot, and everybody else would basically stay to the script. But on The Real Husbands of Hollywood, they just acted a fool. Yeah. Most of the scenes there were not scripted.
How hard is it for like an actor to sit there while someone is like that funny? Like, I mean, we name so many different comedians. How hard is it to keep a straight face while someone is like literally in the middle of a hilarious?
It's hard. It's hard.
Listen,
it's really hard. I mean, the takes y'all see be the ones that they got through.
Okay.
The ones that they didn't get through, they had to cut.
Right.
Keep laughing.
Because speaking of Martin, I don't care. I think this is the most hilarious thing. So the episode when he remade Nino Brown and
with the dog.
So I heard that the dog, they actually couldn't get the dog. So he came through with this fake dog. So Tommy and them was they was unaware. They didn't even know he was coming through with this fake dog. And if you look back, Tommy over there like. Sam over there like, I'm like, I would have loved it.
I don't remember if Martin just brought that dog.
They said because they couldn't get the dog on site. On set, they couldn't get the real dog.
There was so many times.
So that nigga went and got a fake Rottweiler. It was, they said, like, if you look back, I promise y'all, go look at the episode. He over there like this, Tommy holding it in like, I'm like, I wouldn't have been able to hold it in.
Well, yeah, that show was probably
that
the
show is the best.
The Real Husbands, but Martin was super funny show.
Yeah. Just to piggyback on extras, after being an extra so many times on your resume, do that make you a part of a union?
Well, you have to qualify to get into SAG, and there's only 3 ways to qualify. Okay. One way is a stunt woman, the second way is a speaking role, and then the third way is you have to be an extra 3 times.
Okay.
On a union project, though. You could be an extra in 2,000 music videos or 2,000 of Lil Ricky's films, and it doesn't matter. you have to do a union project, and you have to be an extra in that.
3 times.
Three times.
Okay.
And then you become SAG eligible.
Okay, that's what's up. Can you pay to be a part of the union?
Nope, you can't. You gotta
So you can't pay
qualify.
your way
You can't
in.
just pay your way in.
Okay.
Do people allow you to pay your way into actually having a speaking role in a movie?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying, does anybody ever do that though? If you say, bro, I'll pay to be in this movie.
Sometimes, I mean,
you do
it happens. Yeah, it happens, especially on independent projects. You know what I'm saying? Because an independent project is just him doing a project, and so yeah, you want to be in my movie, man? You want to pay? Okay, give me $300. I'll give you a role.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? But you can't do that in a union project and give away a role because that's against the union rules.
Okay.
You got to pay for it. You got to because that in the union project you got to pay talent because it's paperwork.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of paying your way in, because I know a lot of celebrities that have been put on because they already know somebody in the industry or a family member. Would you say you see that a lot too?
That without a doubt happens because that's another thing. The question that people always ask, and this is my explanation on that. You would be a fool not to use your connections to make movement in the business. If my brother was head of Warner Brothers, you would be crazy. I would be crazy not to say, man, I got a film I want you to do at Warner Brothers.
Shout to Tony Rock, okay?
But I always say to people, what you want to do is you don't want to put that person in a position that they're uncomfortable with. Meaning, what I say to somebody is, yeah, if you got a cousin that's an actor, what you should do though first is before you ever contact him is get some headshots. Get all of the things that because all he's going to do is as an actor, he can't hire you. All he's going to do is say, okay, great. I'm going to call my boy who's the casting director and tell him that you're going to be calling him. And then when you call him, he's going to say, okay, send me your headshot. And then you're either going to have that or he's going to be calling you back like, man, why are you sending me your cousin and people who are not ready?
He's taking a picture with his iPhone. Man.
So you done messed up your connections. So that's what I say to people is, use your connections, but don't call them until you ready.
Okay.
Because you don't want to mess that connection up. Because the first time you call me and I hook one of your cousins up and he ain't right, I'm not hooking no more of your cousins up.
Right. Okay. I get it. Okay.
Would you recommend any people to go to take headshots, or should they look a certain type of the headshots look a certain type of quality?
When it comes to headshots, my suggestion there is what I do is I show people good versus bad. You know what I'm saying? There's a website that I take people on. The one website is for new actors, and the other website is for agencies represented position. So this is Lil Bobby submitting his, and this is Bobby's agent that submitted this photo. So that person over here at the agent has had the photo conversation with their talent, so they knew what to submit. Versus over here, they submitted Instagram looking photos. And the one thing that you have to realize when it comes to headshots, it's impossible for me to look at anybody's headshot and say, she's a great actress. She looked like she can act. But it's really easy for me to look at your picture and say, it looked like that's your first headshot ever.
Right.